I'd like to introduce Laura Boogart. She's from CRIS Radio, or Connecticut Radio Information Services. She'll be talking to the Sage Park Leos. The Leos, a group of kids in the middle school and high school sponsored by the Windsor Lions. She'll be talking about CRISKids and other services provided by CRIS Radio. Thank you.
We have the presentation from our guest, Laura. So, take it away.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. I'm not going to try and take up too much of your time, but I did want to give you an overview of CRIS Radio. So CRIS Radio, for those who don't know, is Connecticut Radio Information System. And we've been in business for over 42 years. And basically we open up a world of information, education, entertainment for all the community of Connecticut that has difficulty reading. I'm going to play you a little excerpt here, and hopefully you can hear it. If you can't hear it, Lauren, just pop up.
Meet Ronnie Zobak of Tolland, whose father's life was changed by the Connecticut Radio Information System, or CRIS.
My dad got a diagnosis of macular degeneration. He, yes, lost his vision, but also his self-esteem, and became more and more sad, felt cut off from the world. By luck and by chance, I think we discovered CRIS. And I can picture him sitting here right now. I can picture him on the couch with the radio right next to him. Suddenly he was back in the mix of things. I don't think they even understand how wonderful this thing, CRIS, is.
Meet Ronnie Zobak of Tolland.
So basically, we're providing about 50 newspapers and magazine audio podcast each week. It ranges from advertisements to upcoming events, local obituaries, the latest in sports and business, you name it. If it's in print, we're reading it. So it could be Sports Illustrated, Oprah Magazine, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Hartford Courant, etc. You get the gist. And our listeners are not just people who are blind, although they make up the majority of our listeners. We do have an awful lot of listeners that for other reasons can't read print. So some of our listeners are severely dyslexic. Some of them have ALS or Parkinson's and just can't read. Some are really arthritic and can't turn pages. So it's great that we can provide this service for all Connecticut citizens that just struggle so much to read. But again, our core group are people who are blind or can't read fine print very well due to low vision. There's a lot of different ways people access CRIS. So if you know someone in your community that might be able to utilize it, please let us know. Just tell them to call us and we'll get them connected. Again, it really makes, especially people who are homebound, especially now with COVID, it makes them feel more connected. It gives them a little bit more confidence just to know what's going on, not just in the world, not just in the news, but in their own communities. So there's a lot of different ways they can access CRIS Radio. We have an internet radio. It's really cute. It's like a real radio. It's preset to our station. They can listen through our website. They can listen through a mobile app that's free on their smartphone. And they can listen through Amazon or Google Home. A lot of different ways that they can listen. It's no charge. They just need to call the station and say, hey, I would like to listen to CRIS Radio. Now, from CRIS Radio, we've branched out and done a couple of other initiatives. One is CRISAccess, and CRISAccess is fantastic. That is where we go into museums and we do exhibit signs and descriptions. So we integrate with a mobile device through a QR code, so that anyone going into the museum who has a hard time reading that fine print description of what the art is they're looking at, they just scan the code and it's read to them what they're looking at. And we're in several museums in Connecticut. The other thing we do is we stream CRIS Streaming. We go into hospital rooms. Now, every hospital room has a television, so we're able to stream through their television sets, and people in the hospital can access us that way. And we're in Children's Medical Center, St. Francis, Stanford Hospital. The other thing we launched is CRIS En Español. So we have a streaming offer of all Spanish content. And then what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is CRISKids. So CRISKids is really cool. It's basically a audio library of about 1,500 podcasts of books, so kids can access them. Now, pre-COVID, we were going in through schools and, having people stream through the website or downloading to a large smart screen in the classroom. We also had portable book MP3 players that they would listen to at different times of the day. What we're doing now is really cool. I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. I just wanted to sort of, let's see if I can share my screen. And
I don't know if I have to give you permission for that. Hold on, let me see.
I think you do.
Okay. I can also make you the host because I don't know how to do that.
Host disabled participant screen sharing. Yeah, you disabled me. That's okay. It's okay.
I can make you the host if you want. It'll
Okay.
work. Okay.
All right, I am
There
the
you
host.
go.
Okay. So share. All right, so you should be able to see the CRIS website. Lauren, just a yes or no?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. So this is our main website. And when you log in here, you'll see Search Audio Library, CRISKids, CRISAccess, and CRIS En Español. And those are the things I was just talking about. A few cool things are this News and Education, which is also available for children in school, for teachers to access, or for kids from home to access. So they're basically podcasts that coincide with this downloadable document. And they're very short. They're really cool though. They've got little lessons and there's probably about 50 or so in here. And that's through News and Education through the Hartford Current. We also have Voices of Women Suffrage, which is pretty cool. There's a project made, a bunch of collected items that we put together, essays, letters. It's really interesting to listen to some of this history of the women's suffrage. We also have the same thing with the World War I archives that we connected with the National Historical Publications and Records Commission. And we worked with the Hartford Library to make a lot of those archives all audio accessible. And that's really cool, whether you're just interested or a teacher is teaching this particular subject. Now, if we go to CRISKids, there's a page for teachers. And there's magazines that they can access. Again, kids can also access this just by going to the website. So there's all different types of magazines in here that are very popular in the school, and they can download them and listen to them. They can even download them and share them to a sharing file system if they like. Now, the audio library requires a sign-in. So everything I've shown you prior doesn't need a sign-in. Anyone can go and just sort of listen to these podcasts. But if you want access to the major library that we have, you're going to want to get a password. And what we usually do is we share with a community, a school, all the same password. And that whole school, that whole community uses that one password. So this is what the library looks like. I got to move my Zoom over. Amazing Whales.
Amazing Whales by Sarah L. Thompson. A blue whale is as long as a basketball court.
So they're all human read by our volunteers. And when you pick on a title like Amazing Whales, you see these 3 dots. You can actually click that and you can download that podcast. So again, it can be on somebody's desktop or put into a shared file. So all of these books in here are accessible to anyone who signs up under the CRISKids credentials. Now, what we've been doing lately, because a lot of it is due to COVID, I'm going to stop share. Okay. Is we've created a book club. So what we're doing with the book club is we are downloading about 5 titles to an MP3 player. And we put it all in a bag with the headphones. And then the books can go inside, being coinciding, so that when they're reading along with the book, they're also listening. A lot of schools and a lot of organizations that we're in, such as camps like Camp Current, Channel 3 Camp, they don't have the access to all the books. So they're taking the packets without the books. They get the packet, an index card that tells them what 5 titles are on the MP3 player, and they get a sticker sheet so they can track how many books they've listened to. And they usually get about 20 to 40 packets, so the kids can just sort of swap out what they're listening to. And it's really cool, and the kids love it. What that book club is geared to is kindergarten to 3rd grade. And you think they wouldn't like the MP3 players, but they're so sick of computers, they just love to go sit, put the earphones on, chill out by themselves and listen to a story. And it's really effective. You don't always have to read the print to get the comprehension. And our biggest goal, especially with the summer camps, is to make sure these kids aren't sliding way back and having to start over again in the fall. And we've done a bunch of studies, we've done some surveys, we've done testing that shows kids who listen to about 100 minutes a week of CRISKids are not sliding down that scale. So it's pretty cool. So that's really CRIS in a nutshell. If you guys want to ask some questions, let me know.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, they can just go ahead and say any.
Yeah. If you know, someone in that K through 3rd grade area that might benefit from a CRISKids book club, send them my way. Lauren can share my email, and I'll type it in the comments, the chat as well, so you have it. Just reach out to me. And again, if you know someone in your community or in your family that could use CRIS Radio, the general CRIS Radio service, have them call the station. I'll put my email and the phone number for the station in the chat.
Okay,
And-
definitely.
And I just wanted to say how awesome you guys are. I love Leos. And really, you don't know now the impact you're having on your communities, but trust me, it's lifelong and it'll be something you never forget. And the people's lives you touch, they will never forget you. So kudos.
Thank you.
All right, you got to unhost me now.
Well, Laura, I got a
Okay.
question for you.
Oh, good. Okay.
That enhanced CRISAccess with a GPS, do you need a phone signal to use that, or can you use a Wi-Fi?
You're supposed to be able to use a Wi-Fi. It's supposed to be
Okay.
able to pick it right up. And we actually have a website now dedicated just to CRISAccess.
Right, because I talked to the Friends of Northwest Park and they wanted to do some more enhanced work, like use that system to go
Yeah.
like do the sensory garden and go to the barn, because that barn has heritage animals and something that would say that would be good. I'll pass that on to them.
That would be great. I mean, we would love to get more into outdoor type places because, a lot of people are going to these outdoor parks, and it would just be great to have some sort of audio markers as they go along and some descriptions.
Now, is there an audio marker, like a physical audio marker that you're near with that GPS guided one?
In most cases, yes. I think we're moving towards not having to have that, but yes.
And it would help navigate, the system would help them navigate to that location?
Yes.
Okay, cool, because we're gonna do something at Northwest Park, I'm not sure yet, but the
Okay.
cell phone coverage is not very good.
Okay.
We had the Leos come and help people. It was Blind American Equality Day at the Tobacco Museum. It was
Yes.
very impressive, so it's a good system. Thank you for all you do.
And what was the name of it again? Northwest?
Northwest Park, are you from Windsor?
I'm not, but Diane is handling a lot of our access stuff. So I just want to put that in her ear.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
might have told her about it, but if you
Okay.
ever want to come to the Tobacco Museum, reach out to me and I'll send you my email. I'll give you a tour of what we did there.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And any other questions?
I do have a question. So, how are you choosing what to add to the CRISKids section for like kids, and then like who records it? I think you briefly said volunteers, but like how does that process work?
That's a great question. So when we first started, we were getting a lot of suggestions from the school. And now every year we make sure that we align with the Hartford school system. They put out a required reading list every year. So we make sure that we have every book that's already that's on that list already recorded. And each time I go to a school or we talk to a school, that's what we ask. What are middle graders listening to now? It doesn't really fluctuate much with the K through 3, but once they get into middle school, and we do like to do some high schools, but middle school is a little bit more popular for us. We do ask them, what are you planning to reading? You know, what's going to be on that reading list in the fall? And we'll collect the books and we will add them into the library. And yes, volunteers do the reading. We had about 200 volunteers prior to COVID. And when COVID hit, it was a little tough. There was about 5 of us recording about 20 things a week, trying to just fill the gap. And now we have about 20 volunteers with home setups. So we are getting a lot of our volunteer base back just because they're setting up home studios, which is really cool. And again, it's just if we hear of a book that's popular, we will pull it and we will record it and throw it in the library. Great question.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
For more middle-aged kids, do you also record novels or longer stories that might be, longer recordings? Do you record those? And if you do, how do you go about keeping such a long recording in the library?
That's another great question. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Oh, am I no longer the host? Am I still a host?
No, I think you're still the host.
Okay, let me see if I can share my screen again. Here it is. Yay. Okay, so we're in the library here. So if you wanted to look up, let's say a longer book like To Kill a Mockingbird. So you'll see all the files here that apply to Kill a Mockingbird. It's broken down into mini podcasts. So you can see chapters 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 8. But you can click on them and download them. And that way you have all of them at your fingertips at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we do have quite a few of longer books, and those are something that we would love to do more of. They are very time consuming for the volunteers, of course, but we do love getting them in. So was there a book in particular you were interested in?
No, I was just wondering.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah,
One
I have
more
a question.
Go ahead, sorry.
Hi, my name's Sophia. And I was curious if Leos wanted to help record some of the books, would it be okay if we were to set up a date and come in and record books in the studio?
Oh, I would love that. We have a standstill. We aren't allowed to have volunteers in the studio at this time.
Okay.
And once we do get all our volunteers back, we have to sort of take work away from other volunteers that are filling the load right now. But I would suggest going online and filling out an application to become a volunteer reader, and then make a notation in there, that you're with this Leo group, and maybe even give a call, maybe in the spring, if it's something you might want to do over the summer. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question because yes, we would love to have more volunteer readers, but right now we're just in this weird
I know.
stuff.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Mr. Daniels, did you have a question?
I did, but Sophia asked it, so she took care of it.
Okay, there we go. All right, guys. Well, I put my email and my phone number in the chat. Again, if anything, strikes a chord with you and you think somebody might be able to access or utilize CRIS, either CRIS Radio or CRISAccess, or of course, CRISKids, please just have them contact me. The hardest thing for me to stress is that these programs are grant funded, and we also get a lot of our funding from the Lions clubs. Very few of our funding comes from individuals, but we're offering these programs to the schools at no charge for at least 12 months so that they can get a jump on them. And typically when we get the funding each year, we just keep those schools on board. They don't have to reapply, and it's a really simple process to get on board. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you for coming
Thank you.